As everyone knows, the state of California has one of the most embarrassingly bad election systems of any state. Seriously, when you think of bad elections in America and how some states handle it, you think of states like New York, Illinois, but really, they pale in comparison to California. We're currently on day 4 of them counting the votes in California. Yeah, 4 days. So you would think, worst case scenario, like 90% of the votes should have been counted by now. That you would think that's worst case scenario. If everything goes badly, it should be 90%. No, it's not even 90%. Hell, it's not even 70%. It's not even 2/3 in. It is barely 60% of the vote is currently counted. Yeah, it's been 4 days and we've gotten next to nothing since election day. Are you serious right now? Crap like this is why people think every election in America is fake. It's all bullshit. None of it's real. And can you blame them? What California is doing right now just vindicates a lot of people because it is an embarrassment. But somehow it's worse than usual. And that's saying something because usually California is the worst state at counting votes. But this year in particular, for whatever reason, California is going even slower. You know it's bad when even Nate Silver, of all people, is saying this is garbage. Right here. It's hard to overstate how much of an outlier California is for its slow vote counting relative to literally any other state or almost any other industrialized democracy. And I mean this chart right here. And you may notice that California, this is 2024, I believe, California was the slowest state in reporting results. But at least on election day, they were at 60%. So it's actually getting worse. In 2024, they were already at like 65 to 70%. But now they're struggling to be above 60% reported. Really? Does no one see the problem here? And by the way, California has absolutely no excuse. Like some states, they count slower than others, but some of them have legitimate reasons, such as Alaska. Alaska, they take forever to count their votes. But guess what? They have a valid reason. Alaska has a lot of voters in isolated parts of the state, and it takes a long time to get the results finalized. That is a legitimate excuse. And even some of the Great Plains states, these isolated areas, it takes a while. That's one thing. There are a couple states that have legitimate reasons for being slower than average. But guess what? These should be the exemptions to the rule, not the common system where it takes Alaska weeks to count all their votes. So California has to do the same. No, California has absolutely no excuse. Seriously, what's the excuse for California taking forever? There is none. It is all made up garbage. It is bullshit. They just make excuses up and they take forever. And that's how you end up with this. It's so bad that people like Nate Silver are saying this is an embarrassment because it is. Right now, if this was any other state, it would have already been done by now, especially a state like Texas or Florida. Florida in particular counts all their votes on election day. And they had what? Back in 24, like 10 million votes? And within one day, they're done. Maybe there's a couple hundred outstanding votes on the next day, and that's that. That should be that is the gold standard. That should help every state. That's how they should do their elections, like Florida does it. Count the votes and be done with it. But California, their own garbage system, it allows for this. For those that don't know, according to California law, mail-in votes, they have an entire week after election day to arrive, as long as they're allegedly postmarked on election day. Does anyone realize how absolutely insane this sounds? Seriously, your ballot could arrive a full week after election day, and it gets counted? Hold up. What? Listen, I get the point of the postmark thing. Yes, it takes time for your ballot to arrive. That's not really the problem here. The problem are these goofy deadlines where, yeah, if it's postmarked by election day and arrives a full week after the election, then it counts. What? That is utter insanity. That no other country does this. Where, yeah, your ballot can take a full extra week to arrive and it counts. No. You know how you solve half of these issues without radically changing anything? You just say it has to be postmarked a week before election day, and it has to arrive on election day at noon. If it doesn't, sorry, you're out of luck. You had months to vote. If it doesn't get counted, that's your fault. You had plenty of time. That would solve all these problems. All the problems we're seeing right now will be dealt with because guess what? If these mail-in ballots are actually there before election day, these counties have no excuse. Now they can actually count the votes on election day, not playing this game of saying, well, we can't count anything until these ballots arrive. And yes, that's a real thing that some people are saying. Like Sacramento, they're not counting anything, not a single vote until today. Yeah, they've done nothing in the last couple of days. Absolutely no counting of any votes because they're using this excuse of these late arriving ballots. We can't count them. Sorry, shit out of luck. We can't do anything. What? Right now, Sacramento is not even 50% in. Huh, that's strange. So this county, which is a very Democrat area, and by the way, has a very competitive House race in, which we'll get to in a second, conveniently, they can't count any votes until today. All these other places, even LA, is able to count votes. Yes, at a snail's pace, but at least they're counting votes. It's pathetic what's going on there. But hey, at least they're counting some votes. Sacramento, they're just saying, no, we're not going to count any votes whatsoever until today. This looks horrific that you're refusing to count votes that theoretically should benefit Democrats, which is the weirdest thing about all of this. Like, yes, I get it. Mail-in votes are more Democrat. I get it. But this is an awful look where these ballots are theoretically much more Democrat than the average vote is. And there's so many of them, yet they can't count any of them for an extended period. Really? That is very suspicious. That is sketchy as hell. But on top of that, like I was alluding to earlier, Sacramento has a very competitive House race right now. California 6 right now. If all the votes are counted, if this was it would be a Democrat lockout. It would be an independent, Kevin Kiley, who is a Republican, and another Republican in second place. This would mean Democrats would be locked out of a Harris plus like 12 seat. But conveniently, this district is in Sacramento, one of the counties that's taking forever to count their votes, saying, yeah, we can't count any votes until Friday. This is utter horseshit. This is how you end up with all the conspiracy stuff. This is how you end up with people thinking everything's fake. There's no point in trying. Can you blame them? I don't care what you think about Trump or the Republican Party. It doesn't really matter your political views. This is not normal where a county like Sacramento that has some very competitive races in it, they're just refusing to count votes. And there's a few other ones doing the same thing. Some counties, they're not even 40% counted. It is absurd. It is comical how bad this is getting in some areas. But thankfully, the Trump administration, it looks like they're taking this seriously. A little while ago, an assistant U.S. attorney is now inside the LA ballot processing center as the attorney in the region announces multiple federal investigations into potential fraud in California and other issues. Yeah, the Trump admin, they're taking this seriously. They're saying that they're going to protect the integrity of California elections. Good. If there's no sketchy stuff going on here, why should anyone be against this? Why? I get most of this are the goofy laws in California, which again, the deadlines are crazy. But even then, why are some of these areas purposely taking their sweet time? Why? Like they're counting the bare minimum in some areas. And some areas, they just said, fuck you, we're not counting anything until Friday because we said so. How is that democratic? How is that free and fair that some areas can just do that? When apparently they have plenty of votes to count and they're just refusing to do so. That is not a good look. That makes people wonder what's really going on here. So I don't honestly know how this is going to end up. Like, I do think Steve Hilton will still take second place more than likely. I think he's going to make the runoff unless something so egregious occurs. I don't really think Hilton's going to lose. I think he will hold on at the end of the day. But the LA mayor race, what embarrassment. Spencer Pratt's up by 6 right now. And of course, there's like 700,000 votes outstanding, potentially. It just, wow. Wow. And of course, these votes allegedly are going to be much more favorable to the Democrats. We will know what happens the next couple of days, but man, and actually really next couple of weeks. Yeah, this is going to go on for weeks. Some areas, they may not be finished counting for a month because they have a full month to verify and their elections and stuff. It is absurd and certify, of course. So I really don't know how this is going to end up, but I'm glad the Trump admin, they're taking this seriously. They're realizing this is horseshit, utter horseshit that they're taking this long. The count, not just like, we're not talking about every single vote outstanding. They're refusing to count a couple thousand in some areas. They're just saying, no, we're not going to count any. Why? Why are you taking your sweet time? Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.